Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to show you a solution that we put into play for a client when the client's requirement was they've got these electronic locks, and the clients, and I'm looking for their quote, it could have been verbal when I spoke to the client on the telephone. They basically have some electrified mortise locks. And the client says, you know, these things are no good. I want them off my doors. And I'm thinking in my head, they probably work splendidly, but the client has some sort of long-term maintenance issue with them working. The electronic lock that he has is discontinued. There are certain applications where he doesn't need the electronic lock and he wants to use only a mechanical key. For instance, the door to his office. The application is a school. This is the engineer for the school. He has his own office. You know, think boiler room sort of scenario. Him, the engineer, and his staff would have access or need access to that room only. I get the impression it's a relatively small staff. And quite frankly, just was no longer interested in having to deal with these electronic locks. So, and I'll show you some photographs in a moment. Electronic lock has a card reader on one side, has the trim, and has unusual function holes, and it's a mortise lock sort of format. The client wanted to install a sister company of Rockwood, just a Sargent grade 1 lever lock. They have a small format interchangeable core system at the school. I don't know the keyway. It could be Medico X4, that kind of thing. I'm not really sure what the keyway is. No, I'm sorry. I said X4. I didn't mean to say that. I meant to say keymark. And I know that it's Medico keymark. So client needed a couple of Sargent grade 1 storeroom locks, small format prep, wanted to pull off the electronic locks, pull out the lock case, wanted to put these locks in there into his door. So first question to the client was, are these doors fire rated? And the answer was yes. And I says, well, we can't do what we want to do because what you're going to add to the door is not fire rated. This solution would not be compliant. And the question was why? Well, why is because the fire door wasn't tested with this additional hardware put onto it. And while there would likely be no problem with this door surviving a 3-hour fire test, it's an unknown, so therefore it's not approved to be listed that way. And the client specifically directed language to me that says, I don't care about that. I want to get these locks off my doors. Okay, are you sure? Because it's not fire rated. The option would be to replace the door and then put on the locks, pull the electronic locks off, and then put on your grade 1 Sargent locks with your small format prep. Nope, I want to save these doors. Okay, so here's what we came up with, or what I came up with. Couple of plates, one for the inside, one for the outside, and you'll note that there are different widths. You'll note this one is a little bit closer to the edge than this one. So what we're doing here is, I have them removed from the packaging. It's a right-hand door, or at least the two doors that I'm aware of are right-hand. So what the client has here is, this is a 4 7/8 wide plate. We had calculated that a 5.5-inch plate would work splendidly for us. We've got a 5.5-inch plate. We have a 4 7/8 wide plate. Why two different plate sizes? In your mind's eye, think about a right-hand door and how it swings. Well, from your perspective, like this. Okay? Looking at this video, you're on the outside, I'm on the inside. The door swings into me, hinges around the right, swings in. Okay. What do you have when you're on the push side? Well, you can see the stop. On the pull side, you can't see the stop because there is no stop. The client said, well, I want 5.5-inch plates, so let's go with that. So that 5.5-inch plate is going to be on the inside. But on the opposite side, on the push side, we can't have a 5.5-inch plate and maintain a 2 3/4 back set. So this is going to come flush right to the edge of the door, 2 3/4 back set. But on the push side, we have to compensate for that because we have the 5/8 stop that's going to project into the opening. So this back set is 2 1/8, which is only important because it's 5/8 less than 2 3/4. Okay, so that will nominally give clearance for the stop. Could we have made it a 1/16 shy? Yeah, probably should, but it will. This will nominally work. Is the bottom line. It's a Sargent 10 line. A couple of lever through bolt holes are here. Holes for the oval head, Phillips oval head sheet metal screws are included. Okay. Stainless steel. Okay, when you peel away that.
Here's what I found.
Okay. When you peel away the protective coating here, you'll see a solid piece of stainless steel that's 50 thousandths thick. It's the same as a Rockwood 70 series plate, 50 thousandths thick. The same thickness as a kick plate or a push plate. My caliper tells me .046. Again, holes for the fasteners, my 2 1/8 inch hole, my 2 lever through bolt post holes, and obviously because of that stop, well, I'll illustrate that in a moment. Those plates, the exterior plates become handed. They're handed, if you're going to do a set of these, one of the two are going to be handed. The other side doesn't really matter. If they're left-hand reverse doors, well then your full width plate will go on the outside and your adjusted or biased plate will go on the inside. So let's switch to the screen view now and let's just show you the photographs of what led to this solution. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Okay, so here is, the client sent me a number of photographs. That is an unusual looking 4 7/8 strike, isn't it? It's for a Schlage access control enabled mortise lock. So that's the inside. Okay, and what we're going to get to here is seeing this sort of concept. The client goes on to put a tape measure onto the edge of the door, so we know that that's 8 inch tall. And once we, well, I mean, we know this is 8 inch tall because it's a mortise lock. Okay, when we get to a picture like this, the client has, he told me, like 20 inch tall or 18 inch tall would work. And when we really review the documentation, and here's that lock, that's what the client wants to put on. So this is a left-hand door. This client had ordered 2 sets of plates, and both of them are right-hand. The client would not be able to install these plates on this door because it's the wrong hand. That's what the small format prep looks like. And we look at the template, we can get an idea of what, well, the parts drawing anyway. And the question became is how to go about determining the height that would be appropriate. And, it's really just gauging what we're working with here. So, if we just somewhat eyeball, and right here is about the midway point of the lock. And these plates are 14 inch tall. This is going to be 4 inch. So from here to here, it's going to be 8 inch up here. And I think our plate, yeah, it's 9 inch from the top of the plate to the center line, right? So top of the plate down to the center line of the hole is going to be about 9 inch. It's going to come right up about here to cover all that muck that he has on the door. So it should work. The point of the matter is I wanted it to be right close to the top of his installation and not really cause, an excessively large plate to be installed on the door. So it's going to be right near the top pretty well, and the client may tweak the size as we go along further. Who knows? But the point is we've got 2 different widths. One other thing that you have to be mindful of is you're adding 50 thousandths of plate. So let's just say a 1/16 of an inch on each side of the door. Will the 10 line Sargent work for a door that's now going to be 1 7/8 thick. And checking that in the catalog first does tell us for doors 1 3/4, adjust to 2 inch. So we're good there. That was a good thing that we checked that. There are technical drawings that we have. Client showing me another installation of what they were doing. Close that photo. A couple of technical drawings, and they're linked to down below as well. This just shows what the plate looks like. This is the plate that is the offset, the short back set. So if we were going to make left hand, we would just move all this over a little bit. The other side is here, completely balanced within the width of the door, within the width of the plate. That'll go right to the edge of the door, is the concept. Okay, and those are linked to down below. We also have some photographs that we can take a look at of all of these plates, just to show you what they look like when they come from the factory again. That's the prep for the Sargent lock. That's what the stainless looks like. They're literally just programming this into a CNC machine and cutting it, doing a small, what we call a pencil bevel, a very light bevel. The holes are just punched. They're probably not punched, it looks like they're cut. Screw package. The other plate it's the same photographs, just showing you that it's biased to one side. Okay, so that is what we used to solve this client's problem. And there we go. So interesting way to go about solving problems. Again, not fire rated. Don't use it on doors that are fire rated because you no longer have a fire door. But this client has given us the written approval that it's not, that they won't be replacing the doors at this time, and we're moving on. Let's wrap up this video on camera. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. So this is specifically made for the Sargent 10 line. That's because these holes are 1 5/16 from the center. Pretty sure that's accurate. Yes, 1 5/16. So if you were doing a Best, or a Yale, or a Corbin Russwin, or a Schlage, or an Arrow, or a, down the line, those function holes are going to have to change. We could do a turtle prep on this, where you really just have a whole mess of additional holes that will cover any sort of option that you're doing. But when sending this PO to to Rockwood, I pulled up the template for the 10-line lock, and you'll notice on the technical drawing there was a couple of X's at these 2 dimensions because Rockwood said, hey, tell us what those dimensions are. Pulled up the template, filled in that part of it, and submitted the data. Now, I've successfully had custom plates like this made lots of times for lots of applications. And one that I think about all the time is where I had a client in Seattle who had a lock, a knob lock, a deadbolt, another deadbolt way above it. Used to be a home, or a private residence. This private residence was turned into a multi-company workspace. They needed to have access control over the front door. So the client says, I want to put on this alarm lock DL2700 or WP DL2700, and I need to cover up all these other holes. Well, what did we do? We got a blank sheet of paper. What are the dimensions? What do we need to blank off? What function holes do we need for the DL2700? Laid all of that out and successfully got Rockwood to take some just flat sheet of stainless and prep us up some material. And then again, we had to bias the one plate. That door was a left hand, so we had to bias the exterior plate less 5/8 of an inch to account for the stop that was there. So we wanted those plates to be in the same back set, aligned to the same 2 1/8 inch hole that would be required for the lock, so that it operated correctly. These plates were about 22 inch tall because that one deadbolt was really high up. Another very interesting, if you'll tolerate one more example, this is the faceplate from an SDC power bolt, an electric deadbolt. Okay, this is a Rockwood faceplate that they made for me. You'll notice that many of the holes are exactly the same, with the exception of the hole at the very top and at the very bottom. Rixson, once upon a time, made a 401 series electronic deadbolt. And I have clients who says, I need this 401 DR electric deadbolt, and it is an unusual one in that no manufacturer has one that will fit into that space. So I found an SDC bolt that gives me all the functionality. Door status monitoring, obviously power. I think that's all we really needed on that. Door status monitor, is the door open or closed? An auto relock, obviously, so that the bolt knows to throw based on the position of the bearing, the ball, the auto relock position. This is the auto relock position. That's the bolt. But this is, I think, 1.25 by 8 inch. 1.5 by 8 inch. Okay, 1.5. The 401 DR by Rixson from the early 2000s or 1990s, that's 1.75 by 9, if I recall. Yeah. So I basically took all the center line of all the important parts, transferred it to my drawing, and then had Rockwood make me faceplates. So I took the SDC body off of their faceplate, slapped down the the Rockwood manufactured plate. One funny thing that I had to do is you'll note that is threaded. That's a 3/4 27 thread, if my memory serves me. So I had to get a 3/4 27 tap to tap that hole. The point of the matter is it worked perfectly, and Rockwood was able to make us, the exact plate necessary. Now, obviously cannibalizing hardware like that is technically not keeping it within manufacturer's warranty, fire rating, things of that nature. This was just a security application only. Obviously, being a bolt, it's not fire rated, but it worked splendidly. It's an expensive piece of hardware when you're done, relatively, because custom making a plate is not inexpensive. But at the end of the day, a new hollow metal frame set in a masonry wall, a pair of 4090 doors. This was actually installed at the header of the active door is how this was. Pulling all of that out because you can't get that electric deadbolt anymore. It's not an option. So the go-to is Rockwood. Custom make me a plate. They do it over and over for me. They do a really great job at it as well. I think that's all we have to say about this. If you have any questions on Rockwood's custom capabilities or an application where you need to blank something off, Rockwood can certainly help. Thank you very much. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.